Welcome back to the deep dive. This time, we're diving into The Missing Link, 18 Power Tools for Maximizing Time, Productivity, and Life by Gilles Cote.
And I gotta say, this isn't your average self-help book. Cote uses these really cool visuals called clarity maps. They really make you think differently about things.
Seriously, it's like he gets that we're busy and need things short, sweet, but, memorable. Our mission today, should you choose to accept it, is to uncover those practical tips, those goals and nuggets from Cote's book, so you can supercharge your time management and personal growth. Ready to dive in?
Absolutely. The book's intro really grabbed me. Cote talks about this missing link. Basically, he struggled to put what he knew into action.
Oh, totally. It's that classic gap between knowing and doing.
Exactly. And that's where I think those clarity maps shine. They break these big success principles down into these bite-sized visual chunks.
It's true. And there's research that backs up visual learning. Like when you see something laid out clearly, it clicks in a different way.
It's powerful stuff.
Okay, let's talk tools. One that stood out to me was let it go. And it wasn't just that surface level advice you hear all the time,
No, not at all. He goes deeper. He's talking about that emotional baggage we all carry around, mistakes, anger, resentment, all that stuff.
Heavy stuff.
Yeah, exactly. That stuff weighs you down and keeps you stuck.
For sure.
And then he hits you with this really thought-provoking question. What are you holding on to that's holding you back?
Ooh, that's a good one.
It makes you stop and think, what am I holding on to?
Totally. And it's not about judging yourself, right? It's about recognizing those things and choosing to let them go.
Exactly. Choice is key.
Speaking of moving forward, Cote has this tool called 20 Steps to Achieving Anything. It practically begs to be turned into a to-do list, am I right?
You know what I love about it? It's all about action. Each step is a verb. It pushes you to do something, not just dream about it.
Love that. Okay, but let's get to the good stuff. The power of outcomes. This one was huge for me. So Cote says, outcomes are magnets. You define what you want clearly, and you'll naturally gravitate towards it.
It's like setting your internal GPS, When you've got that clear destination in mind, that outcome you're pulling towards, your brain starts seeing resources, possibilities, things you might have missed before.
Right, like you're literally creating a roadmap for your brain to follow.
Yeah.
And that sense of purpose, it's motivating.
For sure. It gives you direction. But then Cote kind of throws a curveball with the power of small changes,
And thank goodness for that. Who needs the pressure of overhauling their entire life, right?
Seriously. This tool is all about consistency, not massive overnight transformations. It's like that saying, Rome wasn't built in a day.
So true. Think about it. What's one small change, maybe waking up 15 minutes earlier or cutting back on something that, with consistent effort, could lead to big results down the line?
Exactly. Those small, consistent actions, those tiny shifts we make, they add up over time. And it feels more doable than changing everything at once, right?
Absolutely. Speaking of tackling things head on.
Do something significant first. Love this one.
Cote had me at the roller coaster analogy. So good.
Right. It's so true. Imagine tackling that big, important task first thing. You climb that roller coaster hill, and the rest of your day, smooth sailing. You're riding that wave of accomplishment, that momentum.
And that feeling, it's contagious. It spills over into everything else you do. Okay, but buckle up because the next tool, the evolution of a breakthrough, this one's a wild ride.
Totally. It's like Cote gets inside your head. He validates those feelings of resistance, that discomfort you feel before you achieve something great,
He compares your comfort zone to a balloon. As you grow, it stretches, and there's that resistance before it pops, before you break through to that next level.
And here's the thing, right? Those uncomfortable feelings, they're not a stop sign. They're a sign you're on something big.
You got to push past those self-imposed limits. For
Exactly. That's where the good stuff happens. Speaking of which, this next tool, it's one of my favorites for building consistency.
Oh, you mean don't break the chain? Wait, are we about to talk about Jerry Seinfeld?
We are. It's such a simple idea, but man, it works. You get a calendar and you mark off every day you do the thing, the goal. Don't break that chain.
I love that. It's like a visual reminder of your commitment. And who wants to break a winning streak? Right?
Exactly. Plus, it taps into our love for visual cues. Seeing that chain grow longer, it's crazy motivating. But as much as we love a visual, there's something even more important than just checking things off a list.
You're talking about make knowledge powerful, right? Like, what's the point of information if we don't use it?
Exactly. Cote talks about how easy it is to get caught up in consuming information. Books, podcasts, webinars. But knowledge without action, it's just It's just data. It's not until we use it that it becomes powerful.
It's like having a bookshelf full of books you haven't read.
Mm-hmm.
It might look impressive, but are you actually benefiting from it?
Right. It's about going from like passive consumption to active implementation. What are some takeaways from this deep dive that you can use today?
Such a good question. And it's something Cote wants us to ask all the time. He has this tool, Do I Click? It's about being mindful of our online habits,
Especially in a world of digital distractions, right? It's huge.
So important.
Before you click that next link or notification, just pause. Ask yourself, is this the best use of my time right now? Is this helping me reach my goals?
It's so easy to get sucked in, right?
Mm.
Then you look up and wonder where the time went.
Totally.
Speaking of looking deeper.
Look beneath the surface.
Yes. This one's about questioning assumptions, not taking everything at face value. Cote uses this iceberg analogy, right? What we see on top, it's just a tiny part of the whole thing.
It's about being curious, a little skeptical even. Don't be afraid to ask questions, to challenge the status quo, to dig a little deeper. The good stuff is often hidden beneath the surface.
And speaking of good stuff, how to learn like a genius. Now, who doesn't want that?
Right, and Cote breaks it down into this surprisingly simple formula. Flow plus purpose plus efficiency, all multiplied by review equals genius.
Okay, break that down for me. What does that look like in real life?
Okay, so flow is that state where you're just totally present, engaged in what you're learning. Purpose is knowing why you're learning this specific thing, how it connects to what you want. Efficiency is about finding the best methods for learning and remembering information. And then review, that's crucial for making it stick.
So it's not just about cramming information, it's about creating the right conditions to learn and remember.
Yes. It's about being intentional, strategic with your learning, get the most out of it. But learning is just one piece, right? We need a life that supports our growth, our well-being.
Which brings us to how to create your perfect day. I love this one. It's like a manifestation exercise, but for your ideal day.
Exactly. Imagine your dream day with all the details, engage all your senses, and write it down as if it's happening right now.
And Cote talks about connecting with those details emotionally. It's not just listing tasks. It's creating an experience you can feel.
Yeah, and you review that script regularly, really immerse yourself in it. It's crazy powerful for aligning your actions and your mindset with the life you want.
Like you're programming your subconscious.
Totally. But even with the perfect plan, sometimes we need a reminder of what really matters.
That's where reminders more than instruction comes in.
Exactly. Because sometimes we get so caught up in chasing new information or strategies that we forget the basics.
It's like we're constantly digging new holes without stopping to see what we've already found.
I love that. Cote uses this analogy of digging deeper with a shovel. Sometimes it's not about finding a new spot to dig, it's about going deeper in the one you're already in. Master those core principles.
It's about mastering the fundamentals before adding more to your plate,
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of getting grounded, I got to ask about magnitude. This one really made me think about my own priorities.
It all comes down to values, right? What truly matters to you. Because here's the thing. Your values, they drive everything you do. If you're not living in line with those values, you're going to feel it in every area of your life.
And Cote doesn't let us off easy with this one. He asked that tough question, the one we all need to ask ourselves. Are your actions bringing you closer to what you value or further away?
Man, that's a powerful question because really, if we're not moving towards what we value, what are we even doing? That's a recipe for disaster.
So true. It's a good reminder to check in, make sure our actions and our priorities are aligned. And while we're talking about aligning actions with goals, let's talk verbs as motivators. Who knew grammar could be so powerful, right?
Right. It's kind of funny, but it works. Using those action words, those verbs, it just kicks things into gear. It's like giving your brain a command, not a suggestion.
Instead of saying, I want to exercise more, you say, I'm going for a run today.
Exactly. It's subtle, but it shifts your whole mindset. You go from passive wishing to active doing.
Love that. Okay. But it's not just about getting things done. It's also about managing our resources, especially when it comes to money. Which brings us to Cote's Money Manifesto.
Such a crucial topic, and one that causes a lot of stress, right?
Totally.
But Cote breaks it down. He keeps it simple. Take control of your finances. Be intentional with your spending. Build a healthier relationship with money.
I loved his point about pay yourself first and then your debt. It's so easy to forget that when you're feeling the squeeze.
It's about changing your mindset, right? Moving from scarcity to abundance, prioritizing your financial well-being, even if it's just a little bit at a time.
It's playing the long game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And speaking of long-term thinking, let's talk about one of Cote's most powerful tools. It's a classic. We are what we repeatedly do.
Oh, that's a good one. It reminds us that success isn't the destination, it's the journey, right?
Yes, it's about consistency. Those small daily actions, those choices, they shape our lives. What you do consistently, way more important than what you do every once in a while.
So if you want to change your life, change your habits, right?
100%. Change your routines. Change those tiny actions. They add up over time. It's amazing.
It really is. And it's something to keep in mind as we move to our final tool, thinking codes.
Such a powerful one. This one's all about better communication, stronger relationships.
Okay, tell me more. What are thinking codes?
Think of them like mental filters. They shape how you talk to others. Cote focuses on three main ones: outcome, perspective, and connection.
Interesting. So instead of just like reacting to what someone's saying, you pause, you put on one of these thinking code lenses.
Exactly. And you respond in a more intentional, more effective way.
I like that.
So the outcome lens, that helps you focus on the goal of the conversation, where you want it to go. The perspective lens, that helps you step into the other person's shoes, see things from their side. And connection, that's all about building rapport, finding common ground.
It's like he's giving us a toolkit for communication. I love it.
Right. And you can use these thinking codes with anyone. Your partner, your kids, your coworkers. They're game changers for building stronger relationships.
Which I think really sums up Cote's book. He takes these big ideas, these power tools, and he makes them usable, actionable, and relatable,
Totally. And let's not forget those clarity maps. Seeing the key takeaways visually, it just makes it stick.
It's like cheat sheets for your brain.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, did you catch that bonus section in the back about channel 722?
Oh, you mean the Baroque music thing?
Yes. So fascinating, right? Listening to Bach or Handel could boost your focus.
Wild, right? Something about that 60 beats per minute tempo, it syncs with your resting heart rate.
I'm putting on some Baroque next time I need to get stuff done.
Me too. It's a good reminder that there's always something new to learn, something new to try.
That's what we love about it. So there you have it, Deep Divers. We've explored some seriously powerful tools. Now it's your turn.
Choose one that speaks to you and try it this week.
And remember, small changes done consistently lead to big results. Be patient, celebrate your wins, and never underestimate the power of action.
Until next time.
Keep diving deep.